Hello folks, Fabio Martins with Bees Gold Honey. Welcome and to our new episode. This week we're going to be doing a inspection in one of the hives, and I can show you the insides, what the frames look like. And earlier in the week we have been working with these smaller hives. I transferred the nooks, the 8-frame nooks that survived the winter. I transferred them into deep boxes so they can start to grow. And I also tasted the honey. They're still bringing in nectar from maple and pollen from maple and pussy willow. And I tried the maple honey, the maple that they're bringing, and it tastes really good. It's like maple syrup in steroids. So this is the hive we'll be inspecting today. You can see they're bringing in lots of pollen and nectar, of course. So they did pretty well during the winter. What we're going to be doing is removing this wrapping. They don't need this anymore. This is the beginning of the second week in April. This is actually the first warm day, very warm day. They say it's going to get to 74 today. So they don't need the wrapping anymore to help with the heat. So we're going to be removing that and inspecting the top box, see if we can find any brood there, and if not, we're gonna go down to the lower box and see how they're doing, if the queen is laying, if there's eggs, and if there is young larvae or kept brood, and then we're gonna be showing that to you. So a common question we get is, why do we need to use smoke with the bees? There's basically two reasons. One is when they smell the smoke, they think that there may be a forest fire, so they get ready to flee, and for that they need to bulk up on honey. So they try to gorge on honey so they have enough stores to survive and start a new hive somewhere if they need to. And the second one is they smoke, the bees, they communicate through pheromones. There's several pheromones that control their behavior. So when you introduce smoke into the hive, you break this communication, so they don't feel, or they can't communicate they're under attack, and so they behave more calmly. So basically the smoke is a tool that the beekeepers use to keep the bees calm, so we can do our work with as less stinging as possible. So the first thing we do is puff a little smoke at the entrance of the hive, so they know we're coming, and then some on the top. And wait a little bit. So here we have the top box. You can see the bees are pretty calm now. We're gonna remove one of the frames to do the inspection to see if we can find eggs and larvae, which means the queen is laying and everything is fine. Yeah, it's hard to remove because of propolis. Propolis is like explained before, it's the bee glue. It's a tree resin that they collect, and they use that to fill up any gaps in the hive, especially to make the hive first. This is a drawn comb. There's no nectar yet, but they're drawing it. But the propolis is this substance here that they use to glue everything up, And they also spread it around the walls of the hive to make it antiseptic. It's an antiseptic substance. That's why we use that as a medicine sometimes. Next, we're going to try to go into the center to see if we can find a frame that they have been laying. The brood is normally, well, it depends on where the hive entrance is, but most often they are raising their young in the center of the hive. So that's where we want to go right now. I have to be careful because if the queen is in one of these frames, I really don't want to squish her. I'm just creating space here to get to a center frame without squishing bees, and especially the most important one, which is the queen. Yeah, I'm only seeing honey here. I don't see any brood yet. Let me try to take this one. Oops, I'm sorry, I think I'm getting in the way of the picture. No problem here. So this glue is so strong, it just broke a corner of one frame. So here you have it. This is a frame of honey. You're just collecting. You can see some nectar and some honey. And this side looks even better. That's what we'll be eating in the future. Let's see if I can go a little bit further. Yes, I only see food stores. I don't see any brood. I'll try this last one here. Otherwise we're gonna have to go down to the lower box. Yeah, same thing. They're doing well. I mean, so now we're gonna lift the lower box. We're gonna break the propolis seal. I mean, if they manage to make one, yeah, I did hear a crack. And then we smoke the bees. Oops. There are several frames that are glued up. Yes, this looks good. I'm seeing, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 frames of bees. And lots of honey left. They're good on honey stores. I'm gonna do it from this side here. I see there's more empty space on this side. This could be a brood frame. I'm only saying brood. Brood is the young bees, right? Where they raise the bees from the egg. Then it's in the larvae stage, and from the larvae stage there's the pupae stage, and then they emerge as adults. Yeah, there's lots of nectar and pollen. Pollen is this yellow cells here. This is honey, kept honey. This is nectar, kept honey. And you can see bees bringing in some pollen. Food stuff. next frame over. I can feel the warmth. Yeah, bees, so they need their brood nest at least at 95 degrees. Oh yeah. So we see some capped brood. The capped brood are these cells here. This is the capped brood. There's empty cells. I can see larvae. I didn't see the queen yet. We normally don't see the queen. It's one bee in several thousand, so not always that we see her. But my intention today was to find exactly this. If they have eggs, which I'm just seeing here. I'm not even gonna try to show it. It's very hard to see on this with this camera in this lighting. But I can see eggs. I can see capped brood, which is the pupa. They emerge after 21 days. The worker bees do, and I can see young larvae. They have plenty of food. They look pearly. There is lots of nutrition going on here. So this looks pretty good. I don't need to go any further. And on the box below I see even more bees, so the population is pretty healthy, and everything looks good. Now we're gonna put this back together. Carefully, not to squish any bees. And I'll let them be. So what I'm doing here is removing some of the beeswax from the tops of the frames. First, because beeswax is a product as well, and secondly because when I put those two boxes together, there is no space because of the wax, so I could crush some bees. So we need to remove that so we don't crush bees. But that's the bees, like I said before, every space that's more than 3/8 of an inch, there's more than that between the two boxes, they fill up with comb, with beeswax. Anything that's smaller than 1/4 of an inch, they fill up with propolis, like here, this darker brown. This darker brown, this is propolis. So propolis is very brittle, whereas beeswax is very pliable. At least when it's in this temperature. It can get brittle too when it's cold. That's most of what we needed to see today. Appreciate you watching, and if you have any questions, please leave down in the comment section, and I'll be happy to answer to all of them. Thanks very much for watching.